Hi guys, this is Cindy from Part-Time Permies.
And Michael.
And we are a little late, sorry about that. We were just at the Rhodes live show. If we could get a confirmation that you guys can hear us, that would be great.
Morgan, I need coffee after the show. I need coffee before the show.
The country's going.
Lots of people needed coffee.
Serving coffee.
Yeah, I'll probably end up sleeping afterwards because I got an early morning.
Yeah, we are in North Carolina, so we are on the road, not in our normal location. Obviously, this isn't our normal setup here, and we are near the roads, and I think I hear somebody coming to join us. Our guest is already here and walking in the door, so can hear you. Good. So come on in, have a seat.
Just went live.
And I'm going to
run over this camera. One small technical thing jumped up.
I do have a technical difficulty.
Box that showed up.
There earlier.
It was all set up and it just showed up.
So I am going to apologize. I hope you don't mind. You guys recognize Justin.
Hey guys.
So the I think so.
Okay, good.
So Teresa's in the room, Suburban Hillbilly and Carrie Hyatt, they're all regulars.
Terry in your show? Terry and I.
Terry's, yeah. I think Tina started watching us from your channel
for sure.
originally.
She comes over all the time. Carrie is in rural, very dry, hot Texas, and is in all the time and very fascinated with trying to build a small permaculture farm and get some good product out of it. Tough land.
Oh, rocky land.
Which camera are we on right now?
We're on that camera.
Okay.
We just moved. So unfortunately, Chat's over here on the laptop.
Yes, although we are having a little bit of technical. This is actually the first time I've used my Canon camera as a camera, and it was working perfectly earlier, but I know there's a box on the screen, and I apologize. I tried to get that off, which is why we're running late, but it's the only way.
It doesn't show on the viewfinder.
No,
it must be on the computer.
It's on the computer.
It's my laptop, her camera, different location instead of a webcam on her regular computer. So totally
different setup.
But we got lighting.
Yeah, his lighting. So yeah, Texas Hill Country. Tina's in. She's
Paper from Georgia.
There's a lot of you. White picket fence.
Now, sometimes.
Yeah. Crystal was in your. I think Crystal was over in your room.
Yeah, she sure was. She had asked a couple questions about the composting.
Was that you, Crystal?
Yeah, she had a bunch of questions. Yeah.
Okay. Can barely hear Justin. Okay, I'm gonna move the laptop closer.
Are we coming off the laptop mic? Is that what it is?
We are.
Oh, you're not coming off. Got it.
Yep.
I'll speak up louder. How about that?
Now we can all read the chat too while we're.
Yes.
We don't look like we're looking at a computer.
So we're just going to use this.
So you're going back and forth between the computer camera and.
We started on the computer camera. I'm not going to go back to it because it doesn't hold 3 people in one camera. So that's why I tried to set that up at an angle.
Unless we split screened it and then you yourself. I did it between the two.
Yeah. Right. No. So yeah, we have a completely different live show program here going. As far as
Refuge, they've been really good about when they finish up right around 9. They've sent over, and we've really had some fun times and a kind of
a good number of people. With 30 people
rolling in right now.
30 people in the room.
So we usually have about 20 to 30 people, and we go from there. We had 50 last week.
So what are we doing in North Carolina?
We're done. We're going home tomorrow.
So what did you do in North Carolina?
Well, we did a quick visit to our parents and my sister for the first time.
That was in South Carolina.
South Carolina, you're right.
Don't confuse us with South Carolina.
I've never been to South Carolina.
Just 2 hours away.
And then we shot up to the Rhodes, and we were guests to work on a grass-fed beef butchery masterclass, teaching some people had signed up, shooting videos, shooting vlogs, really intensive 3 days.
Celsius made it over. This is a legit guy for butchering.
Okay. Chelsea was the one who was in the other room.
Yeah, so I was like, I didn't think Crystal sounded right. Chelsea,
Chelsea. Be a conversation starter.
That's fine.
Great questions.
That's awesome.
Everybody's going to enjoy.
We like questions, and we like you guys chatting amongst each other, even if it's not for us. And if you don't like what we're talking about, and other people like what you're talking about, we'll talk about that too.
Yeah, we're pretty open on it.
Yeah, but
Okay.
you usually have a little agenda of things and some pictures. I know that.
Yeah, so today I was just going to review the weekend a little bit, and since you were a part of the weekend, I wanted you to come on over and help kind of analyze what was going on and how well it went. We had, I'll show a picture from the class today, or today and yesterday. This was yesterday.
That was pretty legitimate, right?
That's the beef butchery with Justin recording on that part. Or were you taking still pictures at that point?
I was taking, those are those slow-mos.
Slow-mos.
Shot right there.
Awesome. So Mike actually taught the course and taking whole sides of, I almost said hogs, beef.
Beef. Hogs are coming up in the first weekend in March.
Yep.
Sign up is not out yet, but soon. So if you want to get yourself out here, find a place to stay, and we're looking at 3 days, a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I'm chef driven, so I'm not a butcher by trade. I have traditional butcher training, but that's not my day to day. So we don't do everything perfect, but we do it the way you do it on your homestead.
Oh yeah.
And we then show you how to use it on your homestead and how to cook it, so it's more useful than just a butcher giving you stuff. And we talk about animal quality and why some of these products might be better. So that's what's in store, but Justin setting that up.
Yeah. And with the pig butchering, we get to kill and on one day, and kill and scold, and then the next day a lot of the cutting, and then the third day a lot of the eating, more of the exotics, the tongue to tail.
Start making
eating
stuff.
Yep.
Curing,
That's not
eating.
normal. I mean, everybody knows how to cook a sausage or a pork chop.
You know how to make a sausage or smoke a pork chop.
That's right. And then you're going to teach us how to make a head cheese.
I can. We're going to do that because that's the best thing to do with the head, unless you whole roast it, and that kind of grosses people out.
Maybe some blood sausage.
We have to make blood sausage.
We had fun tasting the exotics today with the beef. We tasted the heart, the liver, the bone marrow.
And everybody liked bone marrow, I think.
The tail. And it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So just so you know, if you've done pigs and hogs, they're pretty easy. You can do them with some time and planning yourself. Beef is a big go, not because it's so much harder. It's a lot of muscle. It's a lot of weight to move. And it's just a lot of cost because of the animal. So that's probably you've done some chickens, you've done some pork, and maybe you've tried a goat or a lamb. You've taken a quarter of beef. But to do what we did is it's a big jump.
The next step.
But the pork is very doable. And beef is more about cutting. It's about cutting it and getting it into packages and grinds and usable. And you're making a little bit of stuff, and you're making some stock. You get lots of stock and sauce work. Pork is about getting everything but a 1% of it into finished product. So it's two different concepts of how you handle the animals.
And our workshop's going to fill up fast, so I'm actually going to let you guys be one of them. We'll announce together and let our audiences get in on that. I'll actually probably even give a heads up when we're going to open the cart on that, so people can get on that, because there's only going to be 12 spots on site.
Now, there's a video shot for the beef, and there'll be a video for the so a few weeks out, month out, or so.
2 weeks. No, 2 weeks.
You're in it.
We'll have the. It's not me. It's Megan.
That's right.
Megan Holler shot it for me. I hired her to shoot it and
so you can buy that.
And she's going to be done within 2 weeks. Hopefully you guys have a link in here.
We do have
a link. You have it in already? Okay.
The link is in the description. So there is a link to purchase the video edited version of the whole course. So from the kill that you did a few weeks ago through to the cutting,
3 days.
All 3 days of that.
And you guys are our affiliates, and you're getting half of it. So it's a great way to support you guys.
We appreciate it. We came out for the experience. We heard, hey, let's do it because we want to be part of it. So this is a great way. So you can get the video if you want to get a lot of the details and see it, and anybody can access that. It's a paid video. There's going to be some vlogs and blogs and stuff. You'll get bits and pieces. We have literature that may get out there also that gives some more details. And if you come to any of these things, we give you a big packet that has a lot of reference and resource. So you go home and you don't forget it. You actually have solutions to go do it in 6 months or a year later. So,
can you remove the square zoom from? You know what? I tried
We're trying something weird. We have no idea what happened.
Yeah, that was my technical difficulty and why I was actually late getting started. Was trying to remove that.
Anybody who has a Canon and runs live video has a really fast know-how that we missed.
Feel free to give me a clue on it, because I went from here to here on that screen.
And that wasn't there earlier in the day.
No, it wasn't. So I'm not exactly sure why that square popped up in the middle of the screen.
So you're
I
running
really
OBS
apologize.
and you're running a Canon system.
No, it's on the Canon system. That's the problem. On the Canon computer program.
Okay.
That's the issue, not the OBS.
So you're running 3 programs.
So I do apologize for that.
You're gonna move to North Carolina.
I don't think so. No, I mean, we've had a great time, and it would be
Aren't
fun.
you enjoying the 64 degrees weather?
I almost felt like I was getting sunburned and sweaty this afternoon, cleaning stuff up.
Yeah. No, it was
be
warm.
very cold in January. It can also be 64.
Yeah. Well, I will say a couple of years ago we had 70 degrees in February.
Oh, we got a good question for Justin. How do you get my chickens to till my garden? That's a pretty.
Instead of just pecking the feed.
That's a money question.
Ration their feed. Only give them one chicken, 1/3 pound of grain a day. And then put your chickens in a small enough area. Sounds like maybe they have too much of a space. So figure 50 square feet per chicken for 4 to 6 weeks. It'll take one chicken to till 50 square feet over 4 to 6 weeks. And if they're not tilling, ration their feed, maybe ration it even more. After you get down to 1/3 pound, they're still not tilling, cut it back even more until they're forced to maybe go and look and scratch. Put your feed on the ground. Yeah. Don't feed it in a feed pan. Yeah. Lay it on the ground. It encourages them to scratch and look for it.
Yeah. If you take the candy away from your family, they stop eating candy and they eat whatever else is in the fridge.
Make them eat their veggies.
Or grain or whatever it is. Meat strips, whatever's in there.
And the bugs and
so to speak.
Yeah. The meat is the bugs.
So now we're frozen out.
We got
somebody got it frozen.
Yeah, frozen.
Yeah, someone mentioned. I hope that's.
I'm kind of smelling there. I could have been.
Yeah, it seems to be a little bit slow internet over here. It's a little slower than normal. It's bouncing around a little bit. So yeah.
Frozen. All right, it'll be back.
Try refreshing if you're frozen. It might also be that end if you try to refresh the screen. Is anybody else frozen, or you're just one person? Suburban's frozen and Teresa's frozen.
They're getting audio, just not video.
Oh, they're free ranging. If you're free ranging, you're gonna have to compass them in. You're gonna have to get a electric poultry that works best for that, but you don't have to do it that way. You could do rig up your own mobile pen with building 4 foot tall maybe by 8 foot tall and maybe 4 foot wide, and there you have this whole run where the chickens can be outside and be forced to be in a certain area to till it. You could do chicken tractors, where I have a 40-inch by 8-inch chicken tractor plan that you could keep the chickens just in that, and that's the perfect size for a garden bed. 40-inch by 8 foot. Leave the chickens there, let them do their jobs. Move that over to another garden bed.
So okay, still frozen. That's the first time for me.
Yes, audio is working. All right, well, we'll keep talking, and we'll keep. We're on a little bit of a slower connection. We're on a remote.
As long as they can hear us.
Yeah, that's the most important. You keep chatting, we'll keep talking. There's not that much to see anyways. We're just sitting there.
It's a radio show. I'm sorry.
Now I can pick my nose.
And then it'll freeze right then. No, I do have a thumbnail set.
So Carrie, because you do have a lot. Her problem is it's Texas. It's very arid and rocky, and so she's got a lot of rock. It's hard to get stuff in. So you're gonna have to make barriers like made out of old, people break down old pallets and bring them together so that you can make movable fences. Like crowd control fences that your chicken won't slip through, and then you're going to rein them into a smaller area, and then you're going to move it a little bit every day, or every 3 days, or every week, and crowd control them.
Yeah,
but you're going to have to do some work to find.
Oh, you know what? Let me try this on OBS. I think OBS froze on me, which is the first time ever. So let me switch. You guys want to try to squeeze in real tight?
You think it's running over here?
How is this? Hey. There we go. I'm not sure if it's either OBS or my Canon. Like I said, my Canon software is actually going nuts.
And that's the first time running on that software.
Yes.
I can't eat my snack anymore now.
Snack?
This is appropriate. Gather.
We're
gathering.
Gathering very close.
You become best friends after 2 days of Butchery. Gosh, we worked from 8 to 7 the first day?
We spent most of.
No, that was the workshop started. We all started working at 7.
Yeah.
Six, more like
We've
it.
been going 6 o'clock till deep into the night for
6 to 9.
mostly working, but
Yeah,
it's been a busy run, but that's what we came here to do.
So now they can see us.
yay! Sorry about that.
that.
Technical difficulties
Camera was not
today.
behaving.
So you can see if you're in the screen right there. I can't see my end. Oh, I forgot your screen's a touch screen.
How many people we got in the room? Just curious. We don't
Curious?
Just,
we have 43.
we got 43. We got a good group. All right. Well,
Awesome.
what do you have on your agenda? Are we taking questions? Or
if anybody has questions about the beef butchery workshop,
Hollers were here all weekend, by the way, and their kids.
Yeah, they were filming it.
So they're sleeping, but.
So, yeah, actually, I have a picture of Meg filming you as well.
Cool.
So,
Meg's arm was falling off after 2 days. I mean, we did 16 hours of instruction in 2 days. So this is like pro class. It's approachable and we're friendly, but it's pro. I mean, we work hard. You're gonna be tired at the end.
Yeah. So we had even the kids got involved in this one. Actually,
kids are great. They all have their
video up. People were excited about the kids getting in there.
They did a really good job.
They cut up the meat so that you can put it through the
grinder
for making hamburger.
They helped me separate out grinding meat from fat to render, bones to go to stock.
And you put that video up this evening?
Yeah, it's up. There's a time-lapse video up now on my channel.
Go to Justin Rhodes. He needs some more like a thumbs up and get up some members.
So after this, for the third at party, right?
Right. There you go.
Okay, so somebody want to know how much meat we got. Was it 500 pounds?
I was hanging we're in the 500-pound range. Yeah. We have written down all of our packaging, and we haven't tallied. We were not real good about getting our first hangs because our scale, we were just about to hit bottom on the ground, and so we just couldn't mess around much with grabbing first weights.
Yeah.
But call it about 500 pounds. As far as our trash that we threw away that we were doing nothing with it, it was about 15 or 16 pounds. And what we mean by trash is old blood, really nasty stuff from, kind of bloody stuff, and some lymph nodes and a little bit of veins, things that you don't want to eat.
Right.
Everything else got used either for stock, for grind, cut up. Some of it's going to be reused for animal stuff. So super high utilization, and we packed it all in the freezer.
Yep. Welcome all people from Roots and Refuge.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Cool.
Thanks for joining us. So with our special guest, which we're special guests at your place, but you're special guest on our show this week.
So, Suburban Hillbilly's always here. Green Gables.
Big Bear Homestead.
Big Bear.
Yeah, they pop in.
All the cool people.
Breakaways in all the time. Yeah.
All the people who are channel surfing.
And everybody else,
Yep. So, oh my gosh, how many people just joined then?
More Callies.
104 people.
We have never had 104 people.
Thanks, guys.
So we had 50-some
awesome.
We're having fun. So,
good job.
Good.
So, so for those of you guys who just joined in.
Reference, thank you very much.
Yep. For those of you guys who just joined in, we are in North Carolina for this weekend at the Beef Butchery Master Course that Justin's hosting. Mike was teaching. And Hollers were filming, so we had
guests
a lot of people.
Were learning, so we had a whole craziness. Yeah.
And if you're interested in a digital version of it, there was a full 3-day course because you did kill before we got here, and then breakdown and making head to tail fabrication.
So it's usable.
And you just said you threw away 15 pounds out of 500.
15 pounds was the absolute unusable. We didn't get the heads with it, so we didn't make head cheese. So
and we didn't throw it away. We bagged it up for the pigs.
Well, that was cooked stock, so that was second. That was third use. We cleaned, then we made stock, and then that was after stock boiling. So the 15 pounds was really like bloody material and lymph nodes where you probably could feed them, and a lot of places would, but we have a quality level that we feel like that's probably not great stuff. Scotland's in again. Oh, cool. They were Homestead in the Highlands was in a few weeks ago, right?
Last week, I think. Last week. But in our description, the link in our description has a link to our affiliate of the digital version.
It'll be out in 2 weeks.
So but you can order. To support you guys.
Yeah,
for your audience, support you guys.
Yeah, and support you.
Yeah,
and what you do.
Both of us
absolutely.
And support yourself.
Yeah.
Because this is important to know. sort of a art
beef.
that's gone away.
People are really afraid of beef, and
Yeah.
you need to plan because of the size of the project and
Yeah.
have some, a couple friends. But it is doable with some planning. Pork I recommend, and again planning, and that takes time. Start with chicken, start with rabbits, and then think about your goat, sheep, pork, and then when you're getting comfortable, they're all different. We'll show you how to utilize them, but beef is a bigger project where you cut a lot of the costs. It never comes off your land. It doesn't get stressed. You did meat locker, hang it professionally, get it off.
Beef for 3
You
weeks.
say it costs $20 to hang?
He charged me $20 to hang 2 beefs.
Wow, for 3
So
weeks.
you can't run the electricity for your
No, you couldn't.
your cooler to hang.
I would just assume do that the rest of my life as opposed to buy a walk-in cooler or something.
Yeah.
If you got that option,
That's awesome.
let people that are good at something do it.
Yep.
Do something else.
When is the next event?
First weekend in March.
You're talking about the pork. We're going to be processing pork first week of March. I've told these guys I'm going to let you know.
Yeah.
I'm going to let the audiences know when we're going to open card on that because it's going to be a hot event and it's going to fill up.
Everybody loves pork.
You don't have to age it for 3 weeks. Yeah. You kill one day, you cut it up the next. Yeah. And pig is more accessible for home. Sometimes people can't keep a 1,200-pound cow.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
You can buy quarters, just so you know. If you want to get into beef and take it, start with a quarter and either hind or fore, and then maybe move to a half, and then a whole. For us, a whole would take us like 2 years. So for me, a half is a lot. A quarter or a half is what we need as a family.
This is one thing that people may not know that I want to share is that we as a family are going to for sure on farm kill.
Yeah.
Are we going to next time break down our own beef?
Maybe not.
Kill on farm always and have been for years because one, it's less stressful on the animal. So it's more humane because to put them in a trailer and haul them off to a kill facility stresses them out. Mm-hmm. So it's inhumane in that sense.
1970s, that's our local friends.
The other thing is they're going to release an amino acid because of that stress, and there goes a lot of your good husbandry. So even just these workshops are important just for at least learning how to kill and dress, and then you could take it to the butcher.
That's not taught a lot anymore. That's the rarest of it all. I think we were talking with the guys doing this class. You make your choices. The 4 guys that were in doing classes with us, they all have livestock. They all have. And so they're interested in using and utilizing their cattle. But we don't have cattle. I don't have cattle, but I know how to cut cattle. Yeah. I've not live killed cattle. We've done hogs, but we've not done cattle. That's all right. I know how to break it down. And I definitely know how to cook it. So you can pick it up wherever you're comfortable. You can buy a quarter. You can have that quarter broken into primals and subprimals, and then decide I'm going to play with those. If my back can't handle humping around 250 pounds. And I don't have the resources or friends, they'll have them cut it up, but maybe you don't like the way the butcher finishes it or they're not going to use all of it. You can do that, or maybe you want it all, it's your cattle, and you choose where it gets the cull process, and then maybe you send it to the butcher to age and cut it. So you're in control of the process. Make it work for you.
Thank you, that 1870s Homestead, for linking that. That is, I think your video. No, that's your video today. Actually, that 1870s Homestead, if you could go into the description of this video and pull the link for the digital workshop, that would be great if you could post that in there for me. Yeah. It's in the description below if anybody wants it.
That's fine.
Anything for me before I go?
No, it's just how did you think about it went? I mean, in general, overview.
I thought it went good. I was very impressed with you and you as a support. I was extremely impressed. I mean, I expected you to be good because I've learned that you guys are very thorough and great teachers and are personable people. But I didn't know your level of knowledge in this arena, and then to see you come and teach it and then help students and then keep it in time, like keep it on schedule.
But we pushed right to the end. To get as much as we could out of it.
You showed them, and then they helped you, and then you let them do it.
Yeah.
That was just amazing.
So we're really just trying to get resources.
And you talked about here is if you can buy everything, and then here is if you're having to do it on your kitchen counter with your own kitchen knives. That's really all you need. It's the kitchen counter and your own kitchen knives.
A good strong kitchen counter or dining room. I did my first one on
Our kitchen table.
Cheaper, not a good kitchen dining room table.
Yeah.
And covered it up with paper and blocked the dog who wanted to run through the wall. And that was the first quarter I did years and years ago after culinary school. So you're going to make it work in your barn. You're going to make it in your kitchen, your dining room. So, yeah.
A lot of people want to know who I harvested. These are beef cows that we bought with our milk cows. Yeah. They came one day. We harvested them the next. So we weren't attached. Y'all weren't attached. You don't have to worry. It's not stud muffin. Somebody said in the comments on our video, did Flossie cut up too much and she's gone?
No.
We called it the title. We called Guys Butcher a Cow or something, time lapse. And technically, it's not a cow what we butchered today. Actually, technically, we butchered heifers. Beef heifers. But cow, everybody knows what that is. It goes better with a broader audience. So it wasn't bull. It wasn't bear. It wasn't stud mutt. Bear is our steer, our Jersey steer.
These are only about a year old.
Our bull. And it wasn't Aunt Flossie, our milk and cow. She's doing good.
Before she was giving you problems.
Oh, yeah. In our last video, she was giving us problems. Tomorrow, we're going to continue to train her. You going to come?
Yeah.
You going to do chores in the morning? Okay.
We'll join you.
So you'll be in my vlog come Monday. So
cool.
Encourage your audience.
Hey, what was it?
Tomorrow's Monday.
Oh, tomorrow is Monday. I guess you'll be in.
Okay, we don't know what day it is.
You'll be in Tuesday's vlog. Yes. It totally does not
also,
feel like
big
Sunday.
News for friends. So Hollers, they hit, what was it, 10,000 today? Tonight.
They just hit 10,000.
They hit 10,000 right at dinner time.
They're honking their shoes. They're passed out.
The kids were like, oh, what?
Okay,
go.
Thanks for joining us. We'll keep going. Thank you so much.
Okay.
We'll see you in the morning.
7:30.
Right and
You
early.
gotta give me some time to do the broad fork workout.
Okay.
And we'll see you.
And I'm coming because I actually need to see the farm now that I'm done working.
See you in the morning. So, thank you, Justin. Okay, guys. I know there's a lot of you in the room, and that was a fun, exciting, and a little scattered discussion, but it worked well, I think. It is a slower internet connection here, so I do apologize if things are going a little bit slower. I know there's a bit of a
working off my laptop, so we're working off the mic and the laptop, and so that's gonna hopefully clean the camera. I don't ever really use this laptop camera very much. So Justin's heading to bed. It's been a long day, so we're still up for a while. We're definitely still going.
Suburban Hillbilly just put the Beef Butchery Masterclass link in there. So if you're interested in the digital version of what Mike just did this whole weekend, feel free to check that out. I want to say it's only like $97 for
I think it's $97.
the 3 days. So that includes
we weren't there day one. We
weren't there because that was 3 weeks ago.
Wish we could have been.
So I have a question for you that I'll just throw out here. Mm-hmm. Why do you call 3 weeks before you break down the beef?
Beef, unlike all the rest of them, green meat, so you go from a hot carcass. All carcasses need to be killed properly, but the green meat is really tough. It needs to relax. It's a very big carcass. Think about even deer, people hang it for a little while. 10 days is your minimum commercial, as fast as they can go. 3 weeks is sort of your average, really good place. And when you're getting into high quality beef, you start aging out from 21 to 30, 40, 50. And some people really push certain cuts all the way up towards 60. But I like these because they're grass-fed and they're 1 year old, a little over 1 year, and they're smaller. This was perfect development. You could smell it. The guys were like, it smelled like meat. It smelled nutty. It smelled really good all day. There was not one bit of funk or nastiness. But when I have a little older ones, when I had some grass-fed in New York that I worked with a local farm, I would have them age 40 to 45 days. They only did it for me, and it was the best beef we've ever had. And this beef is very similar. Yeah. So aging, dry aging, and we talk about this in the class, dry aging lets it dehydrate, and the chemical processes of some of the enzymes and some of the environmental processes control breakdown, make it tender and more flavorful, and concentrate your flavors. It's not necessary. You can stick it in a like a food saver bag, basically a big cryovac into boxes, and you can age it there longer under refrigeration. You'll get some of the flavor a little different, but you'll get a lot of water. The water doesn't come out, and the meat's actually wet and will not cook as fast. So yeah.
Yeah. So
where do you keep them? It's in the 50-degree range, so it's a little warmer than your regular cooler. You can look up online dry aging beef. There is some standards. So small pieces are done in a refrigerator with a black light, humidity control so they don't dry out too fast. Large, hanging would be a walk-in cooler under the same conditions.
Which is why Justin went and sent it out to be hung for 3 weeks, is because he was having the whole sides hung and there wasn't a place to do that.
Temperature and humidity control.
You need that control. You need a big walk-in cooler to be able to do that.
Environmental control, because you need to keep down mold and sporing bacteria. That's a no-go. So yeah. We've worked on big packets for these classes. I don't know if we may release some of it into some freebies. I don't know, I don't know what all we're doing with it. We've crafted stuff and it's in some versions.
It might be released with the $97.
And we're talking about maybe putting that in with some of it. Justin has we've coordinated and we've co-built
this whole course.
The course. He owns the concept. He did it all. It's all him. As far as getting together, I wrote the course material, and so we're co-sharing some of that. And excited that we both get our hands on it and have full access.
It's a big project.
But we do field specific questions, and you'll see a lot of it in some of the videos coming up. So
they're going to go with the class. That is something we have to talk to Justin about.
So two things we're looking at. A lot of it was just down to the wire, actually getting it finished up. It could take a little more editing, just to make it a little nicer. But right now, there's a lot of nice references. There's a few references and templates that are from alternative sources. They're high quality sources. I haven't sought permission from them yet, so I may need to pull those things and replace them with other things that are sometimes like Beef Council or some real generic stuff. They're happy just to promote it, but I do need to look at the recipes, and we may need to work on that a little bit.
Hi, good night. Thanks for joining us today.
But yeah, we may make part of it. We just don't want to get in any legal trouble for the very small portions where we've always referenced where we get information.
Is it kosher?
Is it kosher? It's not kosher. Kosher would have to not only go through the process of the kill, which may or may not have been done similar to a kosher style, but you'd have to have a rabbi a specialized rabbi. It's not just any old rabbi. It's a rabbi who specializes in koshering. They're going to know the process for meat, and they're going to watch that you adhere to the safety, sanitation, and traditions. You would also then need to age it in a kosher-approved and overseen facility. I'm guessing where it hung was likely not, but it might have been. So getting kosher beef also needs to be salted. So no, it would not be, because they did not go through the salt packing process, which draws out external blood. Problem is, it makes the meat very, very salty to a point of even when you cook with it, you don't add any salt, it's almost still too salty. So kosher beef, if you need to do it for religious and cultural purposes, that's fine. It'll be very expensive, but it will also be difficult to get as high a quality flavor just because of the processing. And if there's slight differences, you can read about it, but this would not have been kosher due to the salting. You'd also have to look at the knife and the bleed out process, among other things. But it was done by a professional, and it's done on farm in a humane way. So
So any other questions about the beef butchery? And I'm just trying to see if we had a lot of comments coming through, so I do apologize. We missed a bunch of those as we were talking, but okay, you want me to go back a little bit? And if you have specific,
I think I've seen a lot of that.
If you have specific questions,
I did see the emails. I didn't respond. It takes a little bit of guts to have one of your animals come down, taken down when you didn't want it, and then decide to process it. That's a call based upon the animal. That sometimes you're like, hey, we're going to do something else with it or give it to somebody else. But if you're in the right conditions and have the time to process, an animal that becomes injured but not damaged in the meat or most of it, it is a good utilization if you can process undamaged product.
Where is this butchering take place? It's actually on farm.
It's
this butchering
at the Hollers, Abundant Permaculture. So in North Carolina.
Holler Homestead, not the Holler Homestead, the Holler. It's basically Justin Rhodes' house.
Well, it's his business. Yeah,
it is.
It's farms and such. So
So it took place.
So we were teaching farmstead butchery, which would be, for your farm or your homestead, how would you figure out how to best utilize, not how the butcher shop does it, not how a large farm or commercial, it's like, how are you going to make use of that
Not how a restaurant wants it, not how the butcher wants to make as much money as he can off of it.
How do you make it look good in a package? How do you make it look good to a restaurant? How do you make it look good to a buyer? We're making it how you're going to use it for your family and showing you the options. So yeah, it's North Carolina. Hog butchery will also take place. Most will be an outdoor activity.
Did he say how the because we weren't there on the call day,
no.
So I don't think. Did he tell you how it was? Was it with the gun?
Yes.
It was with the gun.
Yes. They use the gun. They have a professional that comes out and does it. They stun it or kill it, one or the other. Either way is fine. So that way you have immediate removal of pain. Yeah. And then you do bleed it out, and that's both for to be humane about it, and also to properly prepare the meat. And no, I was not there for the skinning and that preparation. We're here, so
everything culling related and breaking it down, fabrication related, bringing it down to usable pieces. All of that took place on farm. The only thing that didn't happen on farm was the 3 weeks of hanging it to age it. So it was a 3-week dry age process that was off site because you have to have the.
How many kids were there? 7? What, 8?
No, 8.
8.
8 kids. 4 from the Hollers and 4 from the Rhodes.
7 boys and 1 girl.
Yeah,
I mean, of different ages and of different interests. But at some point, some of them really wanted to get in and help out. And we found.
I'd say 6 of the 8 probably joined in.
Mr. Brown's kind of young to.
Yeah.
He's still kind of young, but. He
watched a little bit.
So we got him involved where they were interested and showed him some new things to try to keep them safe, and everybody stayed safe. So that was there, and how so.
And Jonah was extremely involved.
He was doing good. He's going to be great on the farm.
Yeah.
I had an animal go down. How long before I can process it due to weather? How long before it becomes not edible? Unknown. One, because that's not really my field. So you're going to talk to a veterinary specialist, or and you're going to look up online and learn about it. So typically, whether the colder it is, the longer it can hang. So,
but you do need to get the innards out.
The 2 problems are you need to get the innards out, just like fish or chicken. Yeah, because the innards are going to rupture. They're going to bloat and rupture, and then when they explode, they're going to basically
contaminate everything.
Yeah, all kinds of enzymes and stomach juices, and they're going to rot the inside. You need to get the blood out quickly. You need to bleed it out so that, and that usually happens at the neck or at the extremities. Because if the blood is packed in the meat, it's trash. It's going to sour. It's useless. Yeah. So if you can get to
and if the animal's healthy is other.
So I'm going to say, it needs to be healthy. It needs to be physical damage or a known disease that you understand. We're talking to somebody who had some issues with some cattle that weren't real healthy, but they didn't think it wasn't going to be a human issue. The meat was terrible. Because unhealthy, unhappy animals, their pH is off, they're thin, the stress, it makes for terrible meat. And you maybe will use some as grind or something, or dog food, but even the pungency of it may be completely useless. So it's very low value. So let's say you have an animal that's somewhat struck by a car, deer, livestock, they break a leg. All right, we obviously have bruising and trauma. We're not going to use that, but if the trauma is not too great and isolated to one area, if you have the ability to bleed and eviscerate and without causing contamination, get it to a place where you can hang it, now your hanging is all based on temperature. So if it's cool weather in the fall or early spring or near freezing, you can hang for quite a while and you can get back to cutting it as long as it's away from pests, from dogs and rats and whatever. At that point, if it's summer, and you can't get the carcass cooled, and it's 100 degrees out, and your barn's 110 or wherever you're putting it,
that's not good.
You're never going to make it. You only got a few hours to get it cooled down, so it's going to be weather. But
and the white picket fence, yes, you need to gut it right away and hang it, and want to know why it went down first.
Yeah, so roadkill isn't a good option. Now, when you're on the people do the roadkill list or whatever, it's fresh kill. You're picking it up right away. You know it's been hit by a car. You still need to evaluate the insides and say, does this look normal? Does it, was it disease?
Yeah, it can get pretty bruised out too.
And if it's, so the 2 issues is the amount of body bruising and broken bones and other things that might be there could really trash it out. If it didn't die quickly, that's the other issue. You just hit a leg, well, it's freaked out and the adrenaline's through the roof. You're souring the meat. So generally damaged meat is poor quality. You're only going to have rare situations where you're going to be able to control that, and just even get it into grind or something. So consider it a pretty low gamble. Don't pay for it, and probably, you know, it's going to be a gamble.
Yeah.
And that, again, I'm not talk to a veterinary specialist. Be careful with that, but there are ways that you can you may be able to use it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Intact innards. Yeah, you want to drop the innards out intact. If you blow up the innards because you crush it or something.
The intestines have a lot of bacteria in it that you don't want in your meat.
Don't want it. And then you have enzymes in the pancreas and the liver and all these other things. If you blow, those will start breaking down the meat. But the immediate thing is the intestinal tract. Obviously, we don't want any of that stuff on our meat. So, yeah.
So, you know, that's basically been the majority of our weekend. It's been very busy with that. You haven't really done anything else. I haven't
even seen the backside of the farm. I just had so much to do, and we were on driving.
First morning here, you were setting up, and I did get to go on chores with Justin. Of course, it was not a vlog day for him, but I did get some. And it was raining Friday. It was pouring.
Oh yeah, we couldn't set up real well because it was soaking muddy here.
Yeah. But we did have perfect weatder for the actual days of the workshop.
Which today.
It was in the 60s.
It was crazy.
It was, yeah. That's not January weather that I'm used to.
So we're gonna do chores in the morning. We're trying to get up in the morning, do chores because I want to get a chance to do that.
And I did it on Friday morning.
And then we're gonna and then we got to drive home.
Yeah.
There was a question way back. What happened to Pudding?
Yes.
Pudding came with us. Chickens did not. Chickens were being taken care of by friends.
Pudding came with us to South Carolina.
Yeah.
She came, which is actually where she's from originally. Your sister lived in South Carolina. His parents lived in South Carolina.
We have not been to their house, so we made a quick stop.
Yeah, we went there first before coming here. We left Puddin there with them for the weekend, and then we will. Your parents are dropping her off so we could take her home tomorrow
morning.
So she did make the ride with us.
She's with her old girl pack.
Yeah.
I think that's gone well. They were all seemed really happy. We're like, she's been to come and kind of in a different setting than, and so we're like, hopefully it's all good. And
for those of you guys who don't know, Puddin is our Great Dane, who
rehomed from our sister, my sister,
who we just got. She's 2.5 years old about now. Mm-hmm. We got her this early fall, and she's super shy. So we do have some videos on her initiation with us. So, yeah, we still have a number of people in here.
Oh, we got lots of people in here.
Yeah. You know, 70 in Suburban Hillbilly. Georgia.
We're only 45 minutes in.
Suburban Hillbilly. It's Georgia, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We have crew out from Georgia with us today working on the workshop. So,
yep. Yeah. Oh, I should go by because we have a lot of new people in the room here. Our normal live show, we do this every week at 9 p.m. on Sunday nights, and our normal live show has 2 topics, and we would try to make sure we cover, and then we do leave it open a little bit too, other than just talking about what we've done the past week. Excuse me. We do forage food features every week. As long as I have time to put it together, I do work full time, so I try to do that every week.
You found a few things around here because people haven't been poking around in the right places.
Yeah, so we did Rebecca.
Yeah, new people, when you look at a property differently, you look in different.
Yeah.
You do different things. So City right away found a few nice things.
So I'll show you a picture of what I found. Rebecca and Meg and I all went out for a little nature walk through the woods and things. And we found this tree near some water that had lots of oyster mushrooms growing on it. We didn't harvest them, but I did point them out to Rebecca.
Are we going to be able to go back to that tomorrow?
I don't know if we'll have time. We could walk Puddin back there, I suppose. We can ask. We'll have to ask if we could do it.
So you said they look good to me from the pictures. I saw them physically off. They look different. Oysters have a distinctive smell, so they're pretty identifiable. So
I'm 99% sure that these are
we're
winter oysters.
Equally competent and not one fully or better competent, but I think we both get a look and a smell on them, and I don't know, it'd be fun to take them home. There's a question: are we taking any beef home with us?
Yeah.
I didn't bring a cooler. We are so packed down to get the dog in, and I brought a lot of equipment.
Yeah.
We set up a lot. But I brought a lot of specialty equipment and knives and whatever. And so I was thinking about bringing a small cooler. I don't think we're probably bringing any back. My freezers are pretty full.
Yeah.
Don't have a lot of beef, but
And our neighbor did finally get a deer.
Yeah,
Not on our
so I don't
property,
know,
right?
even if it's gifted or offered, some of it, I'm not sure that we're even going to take any just due to our circumstances. But yeah, we're happy just to get in there, and we got to try. We fried up little bits and pieces, which is the second part of our show every week, is Ask the Chef questions, which are kind of your questions, and we just go crazy on it.
Yeah.
Our backgrounds are both in the sciences originally. So we do like to take a scientific or breakdown approach of why things are happening, and so you can solve problems. If it gets boring or too in depth, just start screaming at us, and we'll go back to something else. But we do then like to talk about cooking as a professional chef and how we would use it at home. And then I do a lot of farm to table. We like to do work with a lot of forage product that we get from friends, and a little bit we do ourselves. And seasonal. So those things are all open for questions and what you're doing in whatever part of the country you're in, or Scotland.
Yeah. So. Whatever country you're in.
Meat butter's good.
So
we made lard. We made tallow and lard. Actually, we had lard that came off of the stock, which is flavored with the vegetables and from cooking all night. There's a person who helps cook and helps Abundant Permaculture kind of keep everything going, and was kind of catering and helping. So worked very organic and local, and keeping the diets for the Rhodes, which are somewhat specialized, and the kids and whoever else together, so they get some part-time help, because it's just too much.
They have a lot going.
You're not running a family, you're running a business and a family. So we interacted a lot and co-taught and talked about things. So I actually took fat off of the stock. I said, this is going to be stronger flavored, but you can still fry and cook and sear your meat and your beef, and it'll taste more beefy. And so she rendered it so it lasts long. She goes, that's great. So we have rendered fat. We have some tallow that's still in the freezer, could be even cleaner rendered. And then we have this flavorful fat.
Ask the Chef section. We do have an Ask the Chef section, and Tina has a question for you. She bought bok choy. What should she do with it?
Eat it.
Eat it.
I like bok choy a lot. Bok choy can kind of wash it. It tends to be dirty, by the way. Cut it down the middle and plunge it, because you'll see in those crevices as it grows down the mud, it can have little bugs or dirt. So plunge it 2 or 3 times. Don't just rinse it. Fill up a bath of water and aggressively in and out 2 or 3 times, and get it out of there. Baby bok choy is like that big. Your big bok choys are like that. Babies, you can they're kind of spicy because they're cabbagey if you eat them raw, and make nice slaws, little soy sauce or other things. You can saute it real quick. And olive oil or garlic, or you can go Asian with ginger and Asian sauces and ferments, and it's really good with fish sauce or soy sauce. You can pickle it. It pickles amazing, like all cabbages. That's the base for kimchi. If you're not sure about the spicy things in kimchi and whatever, real popular right now is white kimchi, which takes out the gochujang and the spice. And white kimchi is basically a hybrid of pickling like sauerkraut, and using kimchi and making it a little more mild. So pickle, you can roast, you can sear it down and caramelize the sides when it's split open. You can, I like to. So what I like to do is blanch it quick. It cooks faster than you'd think for lettuce. I like to cook it for boiling water for 30 seconds, chill it in ice water for 30 seconds, dry it down, and then you can take a real hot pan with some oil or butter or whatever you like, sear it in there so it crusts dark. And then as it's starting to get brown and crusty, you can throw a little ginger or garlic in at the end. Hit it with some soy sauce and let that soy sauce evaporate on, not too much, but salty, of course. And you'll let that salt get on there, and you can even use things like a pinch of sugar or honey or some of the sweet sauteing, that are sweet and salty. And you can make these amazing stir-fry sauces that sear onto that, and people love it. But bok choy goes into, and you can steam it. Super, super usable. Stir fry. The trick to stir fry to make it taste very authentic, especially fried rice, is get a little cabbage really finely chopped up, white cabbage, or bok choy, but white cabbage, that small amount of cabbage in there, other than filling out the rice, when it cooks down, it gives a little bit of funky flavor, and you get this really, really pleasant, like, oh, I didn't realize that was missing. So a little fine cabbage in your stir fry, fried rice, or in your stir fries, really healthy, no calories, super good vitamins. It's got the crunch, it's got the wateriness. It can break down in things if it's too salty. You can cut some of the salt that way. So bok choy is a must grow. It's a great thing to buy. But it's so easy. It grows so fast and you get a pretty good price on it when you got to buy it. So, yeah, big fan of bok choy. There's a lot of kinds, a lot of names: bok choy, baby bok choy, choice, and they're different varieties. So look around, especially if you're looking at your catalogs, your grow catalogs.
The catalogs are out now. I haven't gotten my Baker's Creek one yet. I'm hoping it'll be there.
Or get a little spicy, get a little horseradish spicy when they're undercooked. So.
Yeah. So
I totally recommend anybody who has just a little bit of space. Bok choy is a great thing. You can replant it many times, or spring and fall.
It grows very fast.
It grows fast. It takes up,
not that much space.
You could cut it heads, and you can cut it at any stage.
Yeah. So
from this big to the big, head. So I think that's a must.
Our must grow list for next year.
Iceberg lettuce is pretty boring, so we don't grow that. We grow all kinds of other things, and bok choy is a great item.
Yeah. We got squeaky chairs, sorry.
Yeah, this chair is super squeaky. I've been noticing that.
Yeah, so I'm going to go back real quick. Our normal format is a focus on featured forage food, and then
I got a question for a new person.
Ask the chef here. And we do that every Sunday night. So that's why we're getting some of these chef questions. He can keep going. He can own the show because it's all him tonight, basically. I don't have a featured forage.
But you've been doing a lot of farm chores and hanging out with the kids and hanging out with the haulers, big haulers.
Not so much the kids, so much, but Meg and Rebecca.
So there's been a lot of discussion about.
And Justin, yeah.
People have been on the road. People have been all over the country. How families are feeding themselves and eating, and different health or desires, where people are going to live, and what the haulers, how they want to set up their farmstead.
And Crystal, favorite things to order from Baker Creek. You know what's funny? Last year we ordered from Johnny and M.I. Gardner. Before that, we've always ordered from Johnny C's, but they seem to be getting more and more expensive. There's probably still
they've
some
always been a little bit expensive, but their quality's good.
Yeah, their quality is good.
Their volume from very small to
huge,
a pretty large specialty farm.
But so I haven't gotten my Baker Creek catalog yet to even look at.
We don't know why it hasn't showed up. Everybody else got it. We've been on the list.
Yeah, so hopefully when we get home.
We did a lot of M.I. Gardner and but M.I. Gardner is super, and we don't get any affiliate or anything for it, but they're super inexpensive.
Affordable.
And most of it has grown very well. And if anything seemed to fail, and a lot of it's heirloom organic or specialty grown by local small farms, so they're all good things. If any of it doesn't have a real high rate on it, and I'm not sure if we did have a problem, it's so inexpensive it doesn't matter. If you're commercial and you're missing stuff on your row, I guess it's a bigger deal.
Yes, your mom brought it up.
What's that?
I was looking around your parents' house too, and we found a little bit of reishi.
Really little ones.
Yeah, small ones.
Down by the water.
The biggest ones were probably about 1.5 inches in diameter. So we did get some reishi. I actually gifted it to Rebecca because we do have a bunch at home. I did leave some on the stump that's growing it. So,
it was nice quality, little ones, but nice quality. A little different than what we get up north, very slightly.
No, it was actually about the same as what we got with Navi. So it's the same. I believe that's the same type. Yeah.
Yeah, Baker's Creek catalogs went out a while ago because I know everybody was screaming about how they got it and we're waiting, and that was quite a while ago. So I know ours is something happened. Yeah, a lot of the M.I. Gardner stuff is like 99 cents a pack.
It's pretty much all 99 cents.
Yeah. A lot, and even better, we were getting big packs for a few dollars at Homesteaders America because they came down and had a booth, and of course, end of season, they had seeds from last year, which if you're doing commercial, you need a high, perfect rate of germination, you may not risk losing row space. Yeah. But for a lot of us, we'll just plant a few extra seeds. Sure. If there's any, and a lot of seeds are good for a year and a lot more are good for more years. So it was a great, flash sale done at Homesteader. So we bought some stuff there.
Okay, so Artisan Bard, put your seed wish list online. That's a good idea. I still have to sort through the seeds I already have and which ones are too old and figure out what I want.
We're a little late. I know. We ran into January in a hurry.
It's been the holidays.
We hit the road January 1st. So, and we were prepping the whole week before, clearing our business interests and then getting ready for this.
Yeah. So Mike, again, we have a lot of new people in here.
Mowing seeds. No, don't know anything about it.
Yeah. Mike has a pasta business that he runs as well. So he had to make sure all his.
this stuff.
That's what he's wearing right
Well,
now.
my business is this also, but my main business is making commercial and retail pasta.
Yeah. So
specialty, mostly organic and real high quality pasta.
Yeah.
Stuff that you know how when you make bread and you can get that cheap stuff and the okay stuff and the pretty good stuff, and then you get the really good stuff. And you pay a little more for the really good stuff, but it's really, really good, and then you don't want to eat the rest. That's kind of where
pasta.
That's where we're at, is trying to make really healthy, really, really good, authentic American but Italian and artisan style pasta. So so that's my day.
And I think 1870s Homestead actually linked their pasta webpage way back,
Really?
but it's
Nice.
it's in the description below.
One of our friends just had some tonight and nicely.
Yeah, posted a picture.
Stefan, who's an amazing cook.
Stefan is actually.
We use his sourdough star. His sourdough star is amazing. He doesn't sell it, but if you run into him and you're nice and he has it, he might get you some.
For foodies, he has
He's a really
great
good cook.
Instagram page too. And I've linked him before, and he's come up before because he came to.
He's doing he's French by birth, but been in the U.S. for a long time. And
process of becoming an American citizen. Right?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
He knows all kinds of good things.
So I will look up. I mean, if you're interested in just good food and Instagram.
And my gardener was live tonight.
Was he?
Oh, really?
We've been so busy this weekend.
I have no idea. I haven't posted so I have a personal and business Instagram. They're both moderately active, but regularly active. I haven't posted a thing all weekend, even on my personal one. I haven't taken any pictures.
So
I've been running around so much. 16 hours of class plus prep on either end of it. There's, that's the.
So I'm just posting
Instagram from Stefan if you want to see some cool food pictures. He's good.
He's awesome. He's a fun one to follow.
Doing some homesteading and
he's in Cincinnati, and he's very much in the homesteading community and stuff. So, Mark, thanks for joining us. Does anybody else? It is 10 o'clock at night already.
A lot of times we run because there's nobody after us that we're aware of. That is in our general group of all of you guys. If there is somebody doing it at 10 o'clock and we're taking people away, please let us know and we'll send people to you.
Yeah.
But
no, there's no. I don't think anybody's.
Yeah, but we're available for probably another 10 or 15 minutes to hang out if you want to direct the conversation.
Oh my gosh, there's so many lives this weekend. Your head was spinning. I have no clue who was live this weekend. I sometimes catch Lizora on Sunday mornings.
Justin did a couple of live impromptus.
Roots and Refuge is always live the hour before us. Justin does his premium member
every other week.
Webinar.
Basically was tonight, so we jumped in that and we ran across the road. So while everybody sat in their chair and enjoyed, we physically moved studios, and then Justin came up. And so we moved locations.
Yeah. So obviously this isn't their house at this point, but we wanted to move because everybody was going to sleep over there.
Cabin that we have
rented.
Set aside for us rented. So
yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, I'm just trying to see if there's any other questions that we missed.
I don't even know what is M.I. Gardner's book on.
I haven't seen it. I already wrote a book, but I didn't see it.
I mean, I assume it's on growing or seeds or something, but if somebody has a 2 cents on what it is or what makes it special, that would be great.
Yeah. And you were going to ask something to the new people, and I forget. I think I cut you off. Sorry, we jump around topics sometimes.
You grow and then use micrograins. All right, so there's a fine line between microgreens and sprouts. In the commercial world, sprouts without a license and a safety program because you can't grow them in a restaurant even. So wheatgrass and sprouts because heat, moisture, light conditions, young stuff, soil. You have a much higher likelihood of food poisoning contamination than
mainly botulism.
No, not botulism. It's more salmonella.
Okay.
Is it E. coli or salmonella or both? Warm, moist environments. So you accidentally get it in there somehow, just, dirty hands, things, whatever, and it really likes that condition. So people who grow sprouts grow them under a commercial specialty license. They need to monitor and test and recall them, keep a recall list if there's a problem. There's a fine line. I think it probably has a lot to do with politics, where micrograins, which are young, maturing things that grow out of the ground, whether it's a greenhouse or open, you could do that because I'm sure the farmers are like, you can't tell me when I'm going to harvest.
Right.
How mature, how immature. But because open field is much safer than greenhouse, so they tend to be just a little bigger and not so much grown hydroponic.
Probably our sprouts, the cotyledons and microgreens have
to have a leaf on it.
Have to have true leaves on it.
So there is some things, if you're getting into growing it, you need to watch your legal for your state. I don't do a lot of microgreen growing. They are fun. I bought thousands of dollars over the years in restaurants. Sometimes we go in and prune down our gardens and incidentally take young and microgreens because they look great or they're overabundant. We need to thin them.
Yeah.
I think you should grow them. And I had friends that were growing them commercially in Rhodes. They can harvest some things once a week, every 2 weeks. If you have an overabundance and that nobody needs it, you plow it under and you start over. All you have is the seed cost, and they had European small tilling, so they could quickly get stuff in. So it's a really good business when people wants to buy them. It's not such a good business if you can't sell them.
Right.
But the open field grown ones, because it gets the wind and stuff, they can get damaged or frosted out. They'll go into the frost on some things and actually just wait till the frost comes off, and then they'll harvest. But they're sturdy and the flavor's so much better than a greenhouse. Yeah.
But yeah, we will use small greens.
Autopilot gardening guide to hands-on. Well, we're moving in that. We're very much in that direction, so that sounds interesting.
Yeah, and I've seen he does a little bit different style. He does do a little bit of bio-intensive, but we pick and choose like different things from different places that we want to try out and do and use on our property.
Because we've started doing more chop and drop as a weeding method to not disturb the soil from. Because we're trying not to get, as you can get more seeds to actually redevelop once you pull stuff out or you open up fertile soil.
Yeah.
So you just chop and drop, or you thin the things you don't like or growing too much, and you keep the things that you really want and give them space.
That's where we get into microgreens sometimes too. If you're thinning out your overplanted areas.
We prefer to overplant. I know some people don't like to overplant because of the cost of seeds.
Yeah.
We find the cost of seeds versus labor under our home growing is less of an issue as long as we don't just dump it all over. And so we would rather thin back and get the yield we need in some circumstances than not have planning going on. We really don't have anything or close to what we wanted. So.
Yeah, so our style of growing is moving more and more towards bio-intensive, but also
bio-intensive,
but polyculture.
Polyculture, permaculture, polyculture, growing 6 or 8 things all close together and letting them thrive or compete against each other
and outcompete the weeds.
Yeah.
So we don't do mean rows and stuff.
So you're planning about triple the density that you would traditionally, what the seed packet might say.
Or a variety of different plants so that you're less likely to get a disease going from one of the same variety to the next one if you have some other things mixed in between. Like if you have hornworms and you have one tomato plant in one part of your garden, one way over in a different part, it's not going to go from one to the other very easily. So you're not going to get a huge infestation, or you might lose some leaves on one plant, but the other plant's not affected by it. If they're right next to each other, those hornworms will go right from one plant to the next.
Trying to limit potato blight and tomato issues. The problem is sometimes you get too much moisture if you're trying to get them to air out, and you need an issue of getting the air to blow through. So last year we got awfully bogged down in the summer with stuff, and we lost a bunch of harvest to even get it out before it matured or whatever.
Oh, we got
a little jungled at the end, but that was just because we didn't get to maintain quite as much.
We both work full time, so that's why our channel is called Parttimepermies, is because we do our permaculture stuff on the side. So we are, and if you guys don't know us, we are all food oriented. From the ground.
We have some building projects, but they're usually around food or home projects.
Exactly. They're ground, foraging, growing chickens. We have a couple guard geese. We build projects around them for all those projects. Like we just built a greenhouse, and I apologize. I was going to try to get that video out while traveling, and that was a silly idea. So the last step of our 4-step videos on the greenhouse, I'll be working on this week to get out. And when we get back home, but we also do cooking videos now too, because your business is now run from home.
We try and intersperse some more. Probably due to do a few more. It's been a little.
And one thing you guys, since we have so many people in the room, I don't even know how many are left here, but I'll get your opinion on it.
We're growing in our lean-to leaves right now. It's finished and it's performing pretty good. We'll still optimize it, but Cindy put in racks and shelving. I think you shot an Instagram of that, or is that just an editing film?
I wanted to wait until we got the last step out.
But because we've been away for most of the week,
we didn't start anything.
We didn't want to start anything because you got to watch the water. Bobblehead's in.
Hey, Jeff. Yeah, so that last video.
Bobblehead, building chicken coop. You're going into the old stuff. That's all right.
Cool.
Have you seen the greenhouse stuff?
Yeah. We do have that mobile chicken
coop. That
coop.
old trailer is a blown up snowmobile trailer that we did not own. We just salvaged it from people who didn't want it.
Yeah, our friends had it sitting
Putting
in the
supervisor, yeah, kind of.
Puddin is kind of a supervisor, and if you watch closely,
Jello was a bigger supervisor.
He was, but no, if you watch closely on some of the greenhouse videos or pictures, she's sometimes standing in the window looking out.
Hey, Bobblehead, did you know that Justin Rhodes was here hanging out with us for the first half?
Yeah, so
we're down in North Carolina with them, and
not at home today.
Yeah. I don't know if you were on earlier or not, but yeah, we're hanging out with Justin and doing things with them all weekend.
Oh, so yeah, I mean, okay. The question I was going to ask you guys' opinion, because I had this idea of, because you started a business and started not just a side thing, it's a main prime building up to a primary income source business.
Yeah, it's a job.
It's a job, but you own it. Would you like kind of a little bit of a series on that process of what to take into consideration on how to start from that perspective? You're about 1.5 years in, and that can sometimes help people move to more home-based work if they can figure out how to start their own businesses rather than working for someone else.
It doesn't have to be home-based. If there's a possibility of
it can move out.
Balancing either your time or your income, or creating multiple ways to create income so that you can direct to do a little more of what you want to do.
Yeah. So if that's something you're interested in, just let us know.
Yeah. So we set in for most of the Rhodes Premium member show. And then Justin was here for about 15 or 20 minutes.
Oh, no, I think he was here for a full half hour almost.
With us hanging out. And that was great. And the haulers are still close by. Yeah. And I guess they're going to be in the general vicinity permanently
soon.
So, yeah.
They did tell me, because Meg and Ben are exhausted from their trip. And then Meg recorded the entire beef butchery weekend we just
16 hours of formal training in 2 days, plus setup and breakdown.
So I did offer if they wanted to stop by, but they were crashing. So she did say if people were asking where they're moving or what their next step is, they haven't planned past this weekend yet. So I think what their main concern is to catch up and relax for a bit. She is putting together the beef butchery video and going to be editing that whole thing, which will release in about 2 weeks. And actually that link to the digital version is down below, like I mentioned earlier. So if you're interested in that, so she is helping out from that end. She did all the recording. Ben also helped her with the recording all weekend.
Justin was shooting live, shooting stills, shooting
a lot on the side
and close-ups.
And slow-mo.
And he's of course, managing the whole project.
Yeah.
So that was all going on. Yeah, the haulers are they're hanging out. They know they want to be in the general area, not necessarily, neighbors for the roads, but in the general wider area. So they're just getting ready to figure out how they're going to set down in temporary, not trailer parks, but where are we going to sit for a few periods of a month or 2 months or 6 months
or a year.
And then they're also going to be actively starting to look for what they want in a home and homestead.
They don't want to rush that.
And it may take some time, so they're getting ready to begin that permanent process.
Yeah. So they did say to say hi, but that they're sorry they can't join us tonight, but they will be. Yeah, that is a good question.
Which one makes the best reduction for cooking with beef? So I think red wine is the area you want to go with that. You want to stay within budget, whatever that budget is.
Not cooking wine.
Not except for that stuff that says cooking wine. It'll say it has salt added and it comes not in the wine section. That's trash. Throw it away. It's unusable for anything. It's full of salt. It's water. There's no flavor. You're better using, you can do a vinegar, by the way. Drop a Worcestershire sauce in a hot cast iron pan when you're done searing. Some red wine vinegar or other cider vinegar. Let that almost dry all the way up, and then hit it with a big spoonful of butter and just swirl it in with the heat off, and then pour that over your steak. And that makes a super fast. You could do a video on that.
Reduction.
Makes it super fast. Generally, you have those things around the house. It's very rich. It's restaurant quality and cheap. But for a red wine reduction, you do want some beef stock, ideally, to build it, and ideally some shallots, maybe some peppercorn or bay leaf. Not too much to get into your reduction. And then I pick fruit-forward wines. So somewhere in the $3 to $8 range is probably your max range. And so you want it fruity, so too mushroomy, earthy European style, too much oak. When you do a super reduction dry, it will get strong and bitter. So that means, thankfully, less expensive wines tend to come from places like Chile and Latin America, Malbecs from Argentina, South African wines. You can look around and find quality outside of your France, Italy, California, and such. But you want
Australia and New Zealand.
Australia and New Zealand, they love what's called stickies. They love that red wine, the yellowtail type stuff that is so sweet and jammy and such. I find it hard to drink it's just overpowering and grape juicy.
Some people love it. Yeah.
Some people love it because it's sweet. It's like candy. So that actually works really well because it won't get better, and you're trying to reduce out the grape flavor, but you're also trying to get the glycerin and the sugar content, so it reduces down really nice. So price point and doing the right things and getting fruit forward flavors. Australian, that you can't go wrong in that category. And if you look around careful at like some of the $2, $3 chuck stuff from Trader Joe's and all the 365 wines and whatever else, you'll find something. And when it starts talking about fruity and plums and cherries and dark cherries, not tart cherries, you can work with other things. That's just a great way.
Starting point.
Yeah. And if you want to make it nice, you can get some, you might need to reduce half a bottle for 4 portions. Really drop it down so it's going to add up. So.
Have you ever watched the YouTube show called Dinner Party Tonight? She's funny. I have not. Suburbis is Cabernet Sauvignon.
Cabernet Sauvignon, I like, Merlot blends. Typically, your cheaper things are not single varietals because if they're a little bit off, when you blend, you make it up, and that allows them to bulk more volume and keep the price down. Cab makes a great reduction for sauces, as does Merlot, as does I don't remember what it is. But anyway, so that's a good deal. If it really starts playing up the oak and the prices start going up, pricey wines can be used, but they're better to drink them. So. Yeah, and
I was going to go back to Jeff at Bobblehead, met the Hollers in real life too, and the Rhodes. And
they stopped by. I forgot Holler stopped by.
No, they stopped. You went to wherever they were.
Oh, was that where?
I think. I forget where they were when you went there. So I need to come down to.
Crystal, you better go to bed, Crystal.
Jeff, you used to live in our neighboring state and never came up to Michigan for our hootenanny. I can't talk anymore tonight. So
he was getting ready to move, though.
He was already. I just had to give him a hard time because he was so close to us. But going down to visit, it is so hard. I'd love to travel and visit everybody like the Rhodes did and like the Hollers did.
Mushroom and mushroom trim is awesome in sauces, and Pinot Noir is a little thinner, but on the dark, more jammy and less super tart. But you can always. If it gets a little better, you can put a pinch of sugar in or some type of sweet thing. Honey may not. But palm sugar, just a little bit, and bring it back and cheat. Okay.
Yes. So, we'll talk forever about cooking and wine. I'll talk forever about eating it. But so for those of you guys who don't know, I don't cook at all. I just try. I will eat everything. In fact, we were trying Justin was saying the marrow bones. That is my favorite.
That was new for most people.
Yeah.
And they're like, they kind of jump. I'm like, we're making. I don't care. We're making.
They're not going to the dogs. I'm sorry. We're going to eat them.
Some of them are going to the stock, but some of the marrow bones, we're going to show people how good they can
what they could be. We have liver. I'm not a big fan of liver.
People are pretty mixed on liver. How it's hard to cover it up too much. People.
I like pate and terrines and stuff, but
that's pork stuff. That's not really.
Yeah, it's true.
That's pork world.
Yeah.
Or other animals. Yeah.
And what else did we had? We had mixture of ground heart and
a little ground beef, 50-50, made little sliders.
Those were good.
Very good for people that are a little like, I don't know about the heart, mostly because it looks funky.
Most people like that.
It's really, everybody like that. Yeah. It's very high flavor. Yeah. Not strong. It just tastes like a great burger.
It was really good, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the oxtail.
Braised oxtail and red wine, nice light red wine sauce. I think people like that. And then
I'll try everything, but don't expect me to finish it if I don't like it. I tried the
liver is stronger than a comparable liver of the same age.
And the younger liver is less strong.
Younger is less strong. So this is a 1-year-old, so it's still it was very palatable, but definitely starting to taste like liver. Not bitter and minerally. But it's got the richness of the liver, so yeah.
Thanks, Suburban. Yeah. Between Justin this weekend and Roots and Refuge, thanks for coming over from those channels. That's awesome. We in general, because we should probably wrap up because it's getting late.
Sleep, yeah.
We have to get up early. We have to get up early, do the farm tours with Justin tomorrow morning, and then drive 11 hours.
You considered Kalamazoo before Arkansas, and then you moved to Arkansas. I don't know if that's Arkansas's fine.
Yes.
I looked at Arkansas most mornings for 3 years. I lived in an apartment building on the Mississippi that looked right into West Memphis.
Yeah.
And we would occasionally go over to the Walmart.
You lived downtown.
I didn't have a car, so we'd have to hitch a ride to go to the cheap Walmart. People go to get cheap gas and cheap Walmart. And it's in the middle of a huge truck stop area. It's pretty desolate. If you've ever been through West Memphis, it's crazy down.
Here you go, bobblehead. You guys, if you host, I don't know how you'd host it. We don't have a camper, and you need your cabin built or your tiny house built. But if you have a wild hog, hunt wild hogs, and you want him to do a butchery on site.
I'm not hunting them. I've never. Well, I've worked with pastured, boar, not true wild boar, but fake open ranged wild boar. I've worked with that. It's very good. I mean, it's just like flavorful pork. If you do your pork properly, it's not that far off. But I haven't ever worked with, it would be fun to work with a boar. I do know that sometimes they can be strong and not really good, and sometimes they can be really nice. It depends on their feed and their size. And so, yeah.
And Suburban, funny how times have changed. The gourmet meals are now made from what used to be discarded and vice versa.
We talked a lot about that.
Yes.
Did we bring any ramen? No, we did not, because the ramen is fresh or fresh frozen. We had so much gear between us, the dog, and our gear, and I left a lot of stuff at home that I would have possibly brought. I brought some things I didn't use that I. We didn't even bring a cooler down, so we didn't bring any fresh pastas.
Yeah, so we were out of space.
I brought, I think, about 6 bags total of pasta. It really wasn't the focus. We would have given a bunch of the Rhodes, but they don't eat refined grains, and they're gluten-free. So it's not helpful to them. We knew that. But we did give out a little bit just to some gifts. People here, some, hollers love it. And so we got a few packs to them, and a few of the people participating in the workshop were just said, hey, but it was like 6 packs in total came down here.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't have feral hogs in Michigan.
Well, I know people do the feral hogs a lot, and because of the forage, they can be really, really good and flavorful and exercise dark. It's usually
darker meat.
And then the fat can either be way up or way down. So I'm all for, getting a piece that's decent, and I know how to work with and do some nice stuff with it, whether it's making a ragu or making a pate or something, working with.
Jennifer's not that far from us. She's in West Michigan also.
Was she in last week or a week before? Somebody knew that I thought was close.
I don't.
Oh, Zealand, Zealand's probably an hour or less.
up in Dutch country. Yeah, there's a lot of places.
Memphis sucks. I lived there I lived downtown right after college. Worked for St. Jude, which is a good hospital. Memphis was fun. I appreciate it more than when I lived there, but it's a unique city, and living downtown is pretty unique. I haven't been back in years. I actually don't really know what's going on now.
Campground 5 miles away from him. Okay, maybe we'll figure out how to make a vacation trip.
We just got to figure out how to get a trailer that allows for the full facilities.
Well, they
have a camp with cabins.
Is it have cabins there, or we can always take our tent?
We did a bunch of trailer stuff as kids and in the high school parents, and have driven a bunch of trailers. We just don't own anything like that right now, but it would be fun.
Yeah.
Biggest problem right now, because I'm running a small business with limited staff, is I have regular weekly orders, which means I need to fulfill restaurant clients as well as, like, I skipped out of farmers market this week for the first time the first time since Homesteaders of America. Missed 2 weeks.
But you didn't miss
all last year.
Homesteaders of America, you had someone working.
I had friends, so I only missed one
since
in the season.
We went to Montreal. We had a conference in Montreal last May, and that was the last time you didn't have someone at a farmer's market.
Because it's a main priority that we're there. And then because I do wholesale to restaurants, if they're getting a weekly, whether it's a regular item or something special, they really get upset if they rely on me to provide. And now they go, oh, this is really great. And I'm providing specialty stuff. And they pay a little more, not a lot more. But if I can't fulfill that order, I need to do everything possible. So jumping out, I worked really hard supplying my orders, going through the holidays and the weird schedule. Turned right around, delivered a little early, got everybody on Monday morning. But that's all right. Heading into New Year's, and we're hitting the road tomorrow, and I'll be on the phone and text and however I get a hold of each of my clients for the week, saying, what do you need? Because I'm going to have to recover and start making their custom orders. Tomorrow. Some people might need it. Tuesday. I definitely have orders on Wednesday. I might have to run something out Tuesday afternoon before the end of the day. So that is a consideration, because that really comes first. That's where the hobby, the homestead hobby, and making some pasta and selling a little bit at a farmer's market and baking a few items is nice. Versus I got to make money and I got to keep clients happy.
Yeah.
So
okay, thank you all. I think we're gonna.
Yeah, at some point we'll get some more help. You got to build in bits and pieces and not go too fast that we make bad product and
get people trained.
And get people trained to make product the way our brand makes product properly.
It's really hard to find good
labor's. We all know labor's tough, and food service will never be the highest payer. We can provide hopefully a satisfactory work environment, but we can't provide a lot of things.
We gotta get you paid first, so.
Yeah, so I have to. It's a balance of a growth. So I would rather squeeze and do a little more work. I do have a little bit of part-time, where some people help out, and we're looking to grow a bunch of. Yeah, I look to do some contract and work some markets and put labels on things, and so I'm working on building that out and see where it goes. But yeah, at some point I'm going to need to really find somebody I can trust and help getting them to do things so I can do some other things. To help the business grow, or just fill more orders.
Tina said, dang, we should have asked you to bring it. You're only 3 hours away from her. I think we should probably wrap up.
It's getting late. It's almost 10:30. Wow. Anybody even here? Are we talking to ourselves?
Yeah, we're talking to ourselves. There's definitely people chatting in here. 35 still in the room. You guys are awesome.
Everybody fell asleep.
Thank you so much for joining us.
We'll be back next week, back from Michigan.
Yep. Back from Michigan?
Back to Michigan. And just a last note, if you're in late, if you really like hog butchery fabrication or the art of curing and charcuterie and making sausages, pâtés, whatever, we're gearing up to do a 3-day class, first weekend of March, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Has not been really, it's through Justin Rhodes.
We'll probably do first release to his premium members and then release to
only going to be 12 spots. Yeah. So when that pops up, we'll get a little heads up. People are going to jump on it. I don't know the pricing. It's going to be it's a few $100s. It's in 3 days.
The beef butchery.
And you get access hanging out with Justin and everybody else. You're probably looking at $500, I'm guessing. Yeah. And you're going to get down here and you're going to find your own accommodations and such.
It is, or you can get the digital version.
But you're going to digital, which would be well under $100, or at least, last beef's going to be $97. So you'll get a lot of all the good bits, and we can give you plenty of references and pointers. And it'll be very similar without smelling the beef and getting a few samples.
The beef? Pork,
well, it'll be pork then.
This one that he just did, I will actually put this affiliate link right here in to the chat room. And oh, sorry, I'm bouncing around too much. You got to find the chat room.
It's through Gumroad, which does some does cool stuff. People doing cool stuff that have.
See if that works. So that is the link to the Beef Butchery digital version online.
In about 2 weeks.
It'll be releasing in a couple weeks, so but you could go ahead and pre-order it if you're interested in that. So if you're thinking about doing beef butchery, then
beef fillet and red wine, that's great. But how about like skirt steaks and flat irons and I don't know. We put some fun stuff. Filet's good. I like filet, but we did some cool tomahawk ribeyes. We did some, we didn't do any ribeye roasts. We made some cool, really, really good grind. I mean, steakhouse quality burger blend. You can make a chopped steak, not just a burger. Yeah. What else? We pulled out? Pulled out some short ribs, they're a little smaller. Everything's about half size because of the age and because grass fed. So half size from commercial. We got some beautiful roast, beautiful stew meat that's not soaking wet. It's gonna sear down and make just amazing, stuff for tacos, skirt steaks, flank steaks, some flat meat. We made stock. I made restaurant quality style. In fact, it's better than most restaurants because of the bones. We made stock all last night and then all day today, both brown stock and blonde stock. In fact, I had to cut the brown stock short on time tonight. I got super, super concentrated brown stock. I wish I could have gone longer. We're running out of propane. Yeah. I could have pulled more gelatin out, but it's so thick. This is like beyond what almost all restaurants get.
But I will tell you what, if you have a question on what brown stock versus blonde
pork,
stock
all beef summer sausage
is, we will have to talk about next week.
Yeah.
So think of, if you have questions about what we did this weekend, we'll cover them next week. That's fine too. Bring your questions in. It's 10:30 here, you guys. I know some of you guys are probably further west in the country and earlier.
We're up at what, 6?
Yeah, we have to go do chores. Meet them down there at 7:30. So we should probably get up at 6:30 or so.
We're making connections. We got to pack up, clean up our cabin. I get that handed over. Get the car on the road. Get the dog, connect up with my parents, and hopefully,
a lot to do tomorrow.
Ideally by about 9 we're on the road. We got about 11-hour drive home. Yeah. If we're a little later, that's okay, but we don't.
It's a long drive.
Cindy has work. I've got to figure out what's going on. We got to get our heads back into
normal
the next
life.
Project in the new year.
Yep. So yeah, this is our first show in the new year.
I don't even know what's the new. So we don't do a lot for New Year's typically. Yeah. We blew through. I was working crazy. Like a madman on material for a number of days getting ready for this. I have all the stuff, and instead of taking a lot of resources, I built packets with some resources, and a lot of it just 20 years of, I just know these things, let's just put it together. And if you think a little different or maybe something's a little wrong, that's okay. But practical knowledge. So I did a lot of writing, and I wrote right into New Year's and
through the whole
planning, equipment planning. We shipped equipment down. We drove equipment down. We need to make sure the roads got stuff. Did a buy thing, a couple of things. Yeah. And so we could pull off a really professional job. So that was all going right through New Year's. I mean, it was there was no parties going on. Christmas we took some time off on Christmas, and obviously Christmas Eve, Christmas, saw family the weekend before. So
yeah. So again, there is the webpage. I am going to have to cut you off.
Yep.
At this point and say good night. We have a busy day tomorrow. We have to get back into our routine and work schedules.
Hopefully get tons of snow so we can plow some snow. Not too much ice, lots of snow, but after we get home.
ask for the snow on a weekend, please.
I gotta go to market. My sales are terrible for
I have to go to work.
icy and snowy.
Anyway, you guys, it's been fun. Thanks for joining us. We will see you next time. Thank you all our moderators who are in the room too. That was awesome.
It's a lot of fun tonight.
Yes. Awesome job, you guys. Take care.
All right.